Halloween is an iconic occasion. People view Halloween as the one night a year where everybody goes around scaring the shit out of people, watch scary movies, and little kids dress up as characters going around door to door asking for candy. It's an iconic event that has been celebrated for many years around the world and people of all ages, although mostly children, look forward to. It's the one night a year when it's okay to dress up as your favorite character and just walk around outside. Then when you get home, you stuff your face with all the candy you collected during the night. I remember when I was a kid, I used to go trick-or-treating with a whole big group. We'd go to the same location every year, and a lot of the older people we visited would actually give us money instead of candy. I'm not talking about 25 cents either. They actually give out 10 to 15 bucks to us. That's what you call generous. Then, after we did a shitload of trick-or-treating, we go to the same pizza place and order a shitload of pizza pies and just chill out, discussing the night's events and showing off how much candy we got. Then later, around maybe 9:30 or so, I'd go around the block along with my two brothers and do some last-minute trick-or-treating. It was awesome. Then, as I got older, I actually hated the idea of it. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was the stupidest thing somebody can do, regardless of what their age was. I didn't even answer the door when a trick-or-treater came to the door because I refused to participate in such a stupid act. Now, I don't view Halloween as stupid as I did back then. I was probably around 16 at that time. I'm now in my early 20s and I still don't answer the door, but that's pretty much because I'm a lazy bastard. So, what are we going to do for Halloween week? First, we're going to take a look at some movies and characters that could be associated with the themes of Halloween. First up, we're going to take a look at the comedy film with zombies, Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead features Simon Pegg as Shaun and Nick Frost as Ed, as two guys who live in a small town which is soon filled with zombies. One of the things I like about this film is that it was filled with subliminal irony. For example, Pete tells Shaun to live without Ed, claiming Ed just holds him back. Then later in the movie, before Ed turns into a zombie and Shaun had killed Pete, Ed insists that Shaun leave the pub without him, saying he would only hold Shaun back. Another example is Pete shouts at Ed that if he wants to live like an animal, he should live in the shed. At the end of the movie, Ed is a zombie living in Shaun's shed. These parts I felt just added to the comedy factor of the movie, and although some people probably didn't even catch these ironic occurrences, I still felt they did a good job at providing some comedy. This was a very entertaining movie, and if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. It came out in 2004, so it should be easy to find. Another movie would be The Grudge, starring Sarah Michelle Gellar. This movie isn't as highly regarded as Shaun of the Dead. The Grudge is actually a remake of a Japanese film called Ju-On: The Grudge, which came out in 2003. The movie with Sarah Michelle Gellar came out in 2004 in America. The Grudge describes a curse that is born when someone dies in the grip of a powerful rage or extreme sorrow. Those who encounter this murderous supernatural force die, and the curse is reborn repeatedly, passing from victim to victim in an endless growing chain of horror. Now, I am kinda confused as to why everybody thought this movie was so awful. I've been told the plot was corny and the acting was horrendous. Now, it has been a few years since I've seen the movie, but I don't remember being that bad. One thing I remember from the movie, though, was a guy looking at one of those stereotypical ghost girls spazzing out, and he was actually following her and said, "Excuse me," to her. Honestly, why the hell would you continue to follow something as freaky as that? Obviously, something is wrong with her, so I just get the hell out of there while I still have the chance. Overall, The Grudge is viewed as very corny and a waste of time. I don't necessarily agree with that, but one thing I will say is that it was a tad bit corny. And hey, what's a Halloween video without taking a look at some of the iconic figures that were made famous during the Halloween season? Probably the most known Halloween figure is Jason Voorhees, the villain from the infamous Friday the 13th series, which will actually be resurrected in 2009. Jason is probably most distinguishable by the hockey mask that he wears, and because of this, hockey masks have more or less become synonymous with Halloween. Jason's weapon of choice is a machete. Usually in the movies, he is terrorizing teenagers, and the kids always make the same stupid-ass mistake. They walk into a dark, seemingly empty room and they shout, "Is anyone in here?" Well, no, dumbass, not right now, but good job of calling attention to yourself. Jason's definitely on his way to kill you now. Interestingly enough, Jason was originally not intended to carry the Friday the 13th series as the main villain, but the response to the movies was great, so Jason stayed as the main character and has since become a horror legend. Then you've got the villain of the Nightmare on Elm Street series, Freddy Krueger. He's a unique figure because he's not your average killer. He actually tortures people in their dreams. Originally, Freddy Krueger was actually supposed to be a child molester, as creator Wes Craven thought this would be the worst thing possible. But the decision was made to instead make Krueger a child murderer in order to avoid being accused of exploiting a spate of highly publicized child molestations which occurred in California around the time A Nightmare on Elm Street went into production. Freddy is commonly identified by his burned, disfigured face, red and green striped sweater, brown fedora hat, and trademark metal-clawed, brown-colored leather glove. Yeah, he's got his weapon attached to his own hand. Freddy's badass. Freddy is also considered a horror legend by many. Robert Englund has portrayed Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street films. Next up, we have Michael Myers, not to be confused with the actor Mike Myers. Michael Myers is the star of the Halloween slasher film series and is a mysterious individual. Most people describe the white mask-wearing mass murderer as pure evil. Michael's weapon of choice is a good old-fashioned kitchen knife, but he also has other unique means of killing his victims. Strangling them, boiling their face in a boiling hot bathtub, sticking needles in their necks, all good stuff. Michael Myers isn't as popular as Jason Voorhees or Freddy Krueger, but he's still pretty well known as a Halloween figure. And who could forget the character Chucky from the Child's Play movies, some of my favorite horror movies. Chucky is a very unique character in that, unlike most other Halloween killers, he's a doll. Now, how did he become a doll? On November 9th, 1988, Charles Lee Ray, the notorious Lake Shore Strangler, was being chased down a street by a cop, Mike Norris, who proceeded to fire on Ray, fatally injuring him. Bleeding heavily, Ray stumbled into a toy store and collapsed into a pile of good guy dolls. Knowing he would probably die, Ray used voodoo to transfer his soul into one of the dolls. The store was then struck by lightning and it burned to the ground. He attempts to use Andy Barclay to transfer his soul into, since Andy was the first person to whom Chucky revealed his secret, and thus the only person Chucky could transfer his soul to in accordance with the voodoo spell. One of the things I love about Chucky is that he has some great lines in the movies. He makes some jokes while killing people and is generally a funny character. For example, when he jumped out to kill somebody, they had a heart attack and Chucky said, "You gotta be fucking kidding me," since he wanted to use his knife to kill the guy, but the guy died of a heart attack instead. Chucky has lots of ways in which he kills his victims, but he usually uses a knife or an axe or pretty much whatever he can get his hands on. Chucky is one of the most popular figures of Halloween. Now, obviously, this isn't all the characters of Halloween, but I just wanted to briefly discuss some of the characters and themes of Halloween and what they're about. I did lots of research for this video, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Now, I got a lot of suggestions for movies and such, and if the one you requested wasn't included in this video, I apologize. If I did every request I was given, this video would have been half an hour long at least. Anyway, thanks for watching, and now you have a better understanding of Halloween and the characters and themes of Halloween. Or at least I hope you do. Tune in this Friday, which is of course Halloween night, and we're going to take a look at some games associated with Halloween under the name NC-17 Productions. See you then. Oh yeah, credit goes to YouTube for all of the clips used in this video. Remember to please comment, rate, and hey, subscribe too. I'll hopefully be uploading some clips of me out of character in the near future. Now, like I said before, see you next time and happy Halloween.